So, welcome back, everybody. This is Night Flight, and as you can see, Tony Sayers is back. And Tony, the two of us, we had a very interesting synchronicity that you don't know of.
Oh, right. Okay. Enlighten me.
Um, it was last week, I guess, or a little bit before that, and I don't know. Time is, you know, everything merges into one another. So anyway, I uploaded on my Patreon site. I uploaded a video and talked about the demons are out.
Yes. Oh, that synchronicity. Right. Okay.
And the same day, I saw the same subject on. You had a couple of shorts as
Uh-huh.
well. And I thought, yeah, that is really interesting that we both talk about it at the same day.
Yes. Yes. What to say about that? Yeah. I mean, it was. It was in relation to my personal life, but I mean, you know yourself. I think have you interviewed Eve Lorgan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we know the phenomenon of alien love bites, and yeah, this particular person I was with for 8 months, and it turns out she was a demon. So even I could get fooled, but I can't tell you if you met this person, it was like butter would not melt in her mouth, right? Like initially, and oh my, did I get rug pulled and sidewiped and yeah. And it just, I mean, it wasn't just that, but it inspired me to talk about the whole subject again because, it doesn't just affect me, it affects all of us. And I've been speaking yesterday in my training group to some people about how just like work colleagues, family members, people that we regard as maybe friends can just all of a sudden just turn on a dime and suddenly you're dealing with a psychopath, a sociopath, um, essentially a demonic entity embodying a human vessel. And people just like switch and bait so easily now. And in that video, I put it out there that are there more demons now inhabiting human bodies? And I look around, and I have to say that I think there are. I just think people are, whether or not it's to do with the poke in the you know what, whether that opened people up, whether this thing in CERN has just let in more demons, and people are just losing their minds and just getting more possessed easier. I don't know what it is, but it just seems to be that people are less empathetic, they're more angry. There just seems to be more of this phenomenon going on, not just from me. I just hear it all the time where, I get emails from people just saying, Tony, this, what you said in that video just happened to me. This person I thought was completely different to what they were, just flipped on a dime and yeah, so it's almost like we have to take like extra care right now because I mean I'm not religious or biblical as you know, but it definitely feels like the end times, and that there definitely seems to be more demonic entities, reptilian entities, whatever entities they are, just inhabiting these people, and of course people that are on this path, like yourself, people that watch our videos, people like me, it's almost like we've got a target on our back, and so the matrix, it doesn't necessarily kill you or take you out. It will try and muddy your name, or it will try and through other people, or it will present people into your lives which can be set up in the astral. Eve Lorgan talks about this, where they even set up relationships in the astral, and this is the second love bite now, and both occasions the person appeared as everything I would ever wanted. It's like you couldn't write it down. You could tick off everything on the list, and I had to get, when I realized when the mask slipped, I had to get. I was like, toodaloo. I was off, right? I was like, what is this I'm dealing with? Of course, it hurt for a few weeks and stuff because, I just thought I was in a relationship with an illusion. I mean, this is what was going on. Like this person didn't actually exist for so long. And I laugh about it now, but at the time, if I didn't know how to heal myself effectively and energetically clear myself, I think this process would have taken a lot longer, maybe months. But yeah, it's just crazy what's going on out there, and we have to be really aware that it's not to say that we got to walk around paranoid and stuff, but I think when it comes to letting people in your personal space, especially when it comes to like romance and relationships, we have to be extra careful and really take our time. And yeah, I guess it's looking for those red flags and yeah, just having that really strong discernment. But when it comes to relationships and love, of course, it's a weakness for us all because we all want connection. We're starved of it. We're literally starved of it in this realm. I mean, the kind of love that exists in this realm, I said in a recent video, it's kind of very conditional at its best anyway. Um, and so, of course, that's a big weakness for all of us because we want that connection. It's lonely, especially when we know what's going on. I mean, how many people can you talk to about stuff like this? Not many. We're all online. We're all in different locations. And so when you meet someone and you get on a level, it's like you can't help but feel excited about that connection. And then the next thing you know, you're in the middle of it. So this is how cruel these entities are. They use our weaknesses. It's not just love. They'll use any wound that you have. If you've got an abandonment wound or betrayal wound, they'll make sure to amplify that and use that against you. And yeah, so I think it's a lesson for us all to just right now in these times just take extra precautions as to who we're allowing into our lives because like I say, the Matrix doesn't want you on your highest path. It doesn't want you shining your light. It wants to waste your time. It wants to take you off into a cul-de-sac and take you off your path. And if it can't do it by normal means, it will send a person, or as my video says, when the devil can't get you, it sends a helper into your life. And I think, like I say, I don't think it just applies to me. I think it applies to all of us that are on this path. We've all had those incidents or circumstances where we just get absolutely sidewiped. And I remember the first love bite, which really actually made me give up at the time. And interestingly enough, it was just before I started to come into the information about entities and overlays and all the etheric, the astral stuff, because I'd really just been looking at this conspiracy on a 3D level up till then. And of course, they don't want you looking at where this is really coming from, the astral realm. And I had a massive one just before I embarked on this journey, which was very interesting. And when you look at the timeline, you can see, okay, I see why they did that then. So when this all ended, I was saying to a friend, I was like, I must be about to expose something quite big. There's going to be like some huge piece of information like fall on my lap or something, because this is normally how it works. And yeah, even when people start coming into like information about the astral stuff, it's like suddenly their car starts breaking down, and they have all these other issues, and they start falling out with family members, and it really is just a case of I think these entities like oh, look at Judith. We're not really liking where she's going. Let's just turn the dial up here, and let's turn the dial up here, and then all of a sudden you've got all this chaos, financial problems just appearing out of nowhere, and then yeah, it all compounds when your car breaks down, and then your plumbing starts to leak, and then you got to pay for that, and then And once you see it and you take a step back and look at it from afar, you can really see how how it's working. But yeah, it definitely is a phenomenon that is, well, I think it's always existed. We know that there are entities certainly working through world leaders and governments and heads of corporations, but I would say, well, I know everyone has attachments. Some people have more than others. Some people are literally fully hosted. This is what murderers and rapists are. They're fully hosted demons in human spacesuits, basically. This is why they say, like, a lot of these survivors say, I saw the eyes turn black, or the culprit will say, "Don't look at me in the eyes." So these people are not actually human. So we're actually, not only are we sharing this reality with entities that come in and out of this dimension, we're actually sharing this realm with humans that are fully hosted demonic entities. So to say it's like a horror movie would be an understatement right now. So yeah, it was interesting that you put that post in your Patreon at the same time.
Yeah. I had a different approach. I was talking about some stuff that was going on here in Germany, and then I pay a lot of attention right now to Africa because there are very interesting things going on. And particularly two countries. One is Burkina Faso, and the other one is Kenya. And in Kenya, my goodness, um, we had on 25th of June the anniversary of last year's big protests when the Gen Zs came out by the hundreds of thousands and protested against corruption and police brutality, no accountability of the government, and what have you. So the anniversary came, and last year, 60 people lost their lives. The police shot them dead. There's a very good I have to give credit to BBC, which I rarely ever do, but in that particular case, they did a good job. It's called Blood Parliament, and it's available on YouTube. And by using different camera angles and so forth, they figured out which police officers shot whom. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and this year there was the anniversary of that. The people came out again, and the police, there somebody had it on camera. I saw that live, and I I thought I can't believe what I'm seeing. He was not even part of the protesters. He was a mask vendor. He was selling masks to the protesters for the tear gas and so forth. Yes, I know it does not work, but
Yeah.
okay, he made a little bit of money. He was just standing there. And then two police officers came down woof, 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 and slapped him around, and one shot him in the head, just like that, and walked away.
Incredible. Yeah.
And he thought because he had a bandana around his head that nobody could identify him. But yeah, little did he know the Gen Zs, the Facebook forensics. And they had within hours, they knew who he was. They identified him via his boots, bracelets, and his cap, and insignia on his jacket and so forth. And now he will be tried for murder.
Yeah.
So, and all that went on again more on the 25th of June. Again, and initially they said 16 people died. Now the number is up to around 40.
Mm.
And then was Saba Saba. Saba Saba is the day where the Mau Mau fighters, came out. And I mean, that took many years to kick out the British. Yeah.
Mm.
And and again, so many people died on that day.
yeah.
And in that scenario, the president of Kenya came out and actually told the police to shoot the protesters in the leg. I mean, hello. The first person that died in 2024, that was Rex Masai, and he died and somebody shot him in the leg.
Mm.
As and the president is acting as if these wounds are sustainable somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Kenyans came out and made a lot of interesting and funny AI videos, the entire country in wheelchairs or on crutches because everybody
Right.
had a leg wound.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And stuff like that, then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, did you lose all of your faculties? I mean, what is going on in a head like that?
Yeah. Well, it's a demonic entity. I mean, you have to be demonic to, well, A, just shoot someone in the head like that. You've got to be like either a soulless NPC or just complete demon. And this is going on all around the world. This is the crazy, and people try and tell me that this isn't a hell realm. Well, I beg to differ. I mean, there's that old saying, isn't there? The demons aren't. I forget who said it. The demons aren't up there or down there rather. They're here, and I believe that to be the case. Here in Mexico, where I live in Playa, which is like a smallish tourist town, they've just shot. There's a taxi syndicate, and just two taxi drivers just got shot because they took someone to the airport and didn't tell the boss or something because they're so desperate for money. So they just shot them. I mean, imagine losing your life over driving a taxi. And this stuff goes on all the time to different degrees over here. And you just, any kind of real human with any kind of empathy or consciousness would never dream of laying a finger on anyone, especially not for those kind of reasons. But this is what goes on a daily basis all around the world in different countries. And for those reasons alone, it cannot be denied that we are sharing this realm with people that are just demonically or entity ridden, possessed people. And like I say, it feels like and it seems like, and from what other people are telling me, that it's getting worse. It feels like there seems to be more of this going on, and it's just crazy out there. It really is.
Yeah, yeah, the craziness has reached a level that is, yeah, no longer sustainable. I mean, wow. But as you say, on all levels, in your private life, let alone politics and what have you. And sometimes I'm just sitting there and thinking, how did I end up in this movie?
Yeah, yeah. It never ceases to take my breath away with the things that I hear and things that people tell me. Um, it's it's just beyond evil. It really is beyond evil. I just don't know how this place got to how it got to like this, but it's just overrun with these evil entities all over the place. And sometimes I go out and I'll just go. See, if it's not a demonic entity, it's some like NPC who wants to put their loudspeaker on their phone next to me in a cafe and have a like. Even yesterday, I went for a coffee over just locally, and I sat down and outside, and there was tables everywhere that were free. uh, Literally, this guy came up and he sat on the next table next to me, almost in my personal space, because these two tables, even though he had all the other tables to choose from, and I'm like, oh, here we go, thinking like this, and then I'm like, I bet he gets his phone out and starts having a conversation on his live on the loudspeaker. What did he do? Put his phone on, started having a conversation on the loudspeaker, like literally right in my personal space, like didn't care about my own peace and tranquility. and stuff like this happens all the time. It really is like the Truman Show, and yeah, like I say, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's like in the Truman Show when he leaves his house, everyone leaves at the same time. It's like that's the same kind of things that happen here, like with the electric going down. Every time I've got an important interview, guaranteed the electric goes down in my building, or the leaf blower comes out. The leaf blower hasn't been around for a month until I go to do a an important interview where I'm going to be speaking about something really important. Then the leaf blower comes out, and it's just chaos. I mean, sometimes I come back into my apartment and I'm like, I'm back. It's just like just half an hour outside dealing with the general public and the stuff that's going on with them. I don't know whether they're just AI possessed, entity possessed, a bit of both, nanotech possessed. Maybe they're being remote controlled by Wi-Fi. I don't know what is going on with people right now, but they're more annoying. They're more angry. They're just more don't care about anyone else, and yeah, essentially at the worst case, more demonic.
Yeah. Um, it's especially annoying when it hits the private circle, you know. Have you thought about what kind of measures you can take to rule it out in the future?
Yeah, I'm never going to leave my apartment again. Um, well, I think I mean I haven't since yes, it's been like 3 or 4 years since I had serious. So I thought I've been quite quite cautious and yeah, I think if I'm being honest, I probably did ignore a couple of red flags early on because I got love bombed really bad. That's what they do. You know how they love bomb you at when you die with the false light
That is
technology.
what narcissists do.
Yeah, false light technology.
Mm.
Um, it's the same thing that it's the same thing that goes on with people. Not all people, healthy people, no, but yeah, you just get absolutely love bombed, and yeah, when you haven't had that for a while, it feels good, right? And then you don't realize you're being love bombed, and then yeah, and then a few months, yeah, then the mask slowly starts to slip, and you're kind of thinking, hang on a minute, something's something's off here. This isn't quite what I signed up for. In the beginning, you're not quite who you were at the beginning, and then all of a sudden the mask's fully off, and then you're running for the hills, and you're like, oh, it's one of these again. It's one of these demons. So, no, I would say, I mean. Yeah, I would say you got to look for the red flags and just I guess try and take it try and if it's a romantic scenario, yeah, you just want to try and take it slow. If the other person's really love bombing you, this is what I've learned moving forward. If I'm getting love bombed heavily in the beginning, that's a red flag now. So
It is.
which it sounds strange, like someone trying to love you is a red flag, but I think if it's really intense like that, it's abnormal because I think normal, healthy people they love like slower, take their time and that kind of thing. And and I think that would be something that I would say to people like, first of all, yeah, look for the red flags and and then yeah, just be cautious if you feel like you're getting love bombed. Just take your time with the person and yeah, just look for any like little. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect, right? But it's just looking out for those little nuances that maybe don't add up and actions speak louder than words, don't they? A lot of the time with this stuff. So um, and just being aware that if you're looking at information like this, your information, my information, you're already, I don't like using the word targeted because, then people fall into victimhood and they're like, oh, I'm targeted. We're all targeted.
You
Um,
become more interesting.
yeah, you become more interesting to the matrix and the entities, and so you have to yeah, you have to act accordingly and just think to yourself, okay, I'm probably of interest at this point, so I just need to take a little bit of extra care in, you know, what I'm doing and who I'm allowing into my personal space, setting strong boundaries. I mean, that's one thing I did have when I realized when I realized it was I was out, I was gone. I was like, okay, bye. but but sometimes people they don't always have the strong boundaries because of their own trauma and things like that, and you can get caught up in these things for years. Like there's people that I mean, like I say, I get the emails and work with people down the years, and they've been with these kind of in these love bite scenarios. In the new age, they call them twin flame connections. We know all about that scam, and people get hooked in for months and years. And it literally, Judith, I'm not joking, right? Towards the end, I felt like my energy was being drained. And weirdly enough, um, right towards the end, my knees were starting to ache. And I was like, that's weird. Why are my knees aching? Now, I play a lot of sport. And I was thinking, oh, don't tell me my knees are on the way out. I'm only 45. Like, I can't be like walking around with a stick like for the rest of my. Do
May
you know
I
what?
suggest some DMSO?
Ah, right. Okay. I'll bear that in mind. But I'll finish because it's interesting. And I'm thinking it's weird because as this is getting really more weird with her, I'm thinking, is this stress? Because I've never had a problem before. Anyway, when I ran for the hills and I'd given myself a few weeks because I didn't upload anything for about a month on my channel. I was literally just healing and all gone. The aching in the knees has completely disappeared. So stress, I mean, we know that anyway, but stress plays a major impact in our physical health. And you allow these one of these demons into your life, it's going to impact you emotionally, financially, possibly, physically, certainly. Um, and what did it do? From my perspective, what happened to me? I didn't upload for a month. I didn't do any. So that's a win for the Matrix, right? It could have been way longer. So we see in real time how that affected me, and like I say, it could have gone on for months with me maybe licking my wounds and recovering and all that stuff. But so when you look at it, you're like, okay, that's exactly what happened. They put this person came in, love bombed me, um, and took me off my path only for a month, but still took me off my path, wasted my time, drained my energy, made me physically not the best condition. But if you're stuck in this for months and years, you've got to find the strength and the willpower to walk away and walk away quickly and cut all ties because these people can literally kill you, like literally physically, um, and just by the stress of it all. I was on Reddit reading about some other cases where this guy was involved with someone similar, and it went on for a long time. And he developed heart conditions, and he actually had a heart attack. And so it's no joke, right? It's not. We're laughing about it because you have to, but there's a very serious connotation to all of this, which can actually lead to physical death. And if I needed another reminder, I definitely had one. But it's been great. These things always backfire on the Matrix because now I'm able to speak about it again with more clarity, and this is really the first sort of interview I've done where I've spoke about it in any depth. Um, you know, I don't really like pouring my personal stuff out online, but I think
Yeah,
it's
no, I understand, but you know what, Tony? It can happen to anybody.
for
And even
sure.
if you're well aware of all these entities and what is going on, it can still happen. And it
Absolutely.
is good to hear somebody saying, well, sorry guys, happened to me as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, exactly. And
there's
all the
nothing shameful about it.
no, no, but all the things that I talk about and everything and having the discernment, yeah, it still happened to me. And yeah, they were up there in the astral, like, okay, how can we get him? All right, so if we send this kind of person into his life with this kind of personality, because this is the things that he's looking for. They literally that if they had my list, they had a list that matched, right? It was like they're like, right, okay, she's this, she's this, she's this, she's this, she's this. Right, send her out. Send her out, and then that was it. Was exactly what was the same that happened with my first love fight, which was way worse than this one because yeah, she went to town on me and yeah, almost destroyed me, and I almost, like I say, threw in the towel. Which again, what would that would have resulted in another win for the Matrix. So absolutely, it can happen to any one of us at any time, and it doesn't have to be a romantic scenario. It can be a work colleague. These people are possessed a lot of the time, and they will make your life hell. Just because it's you being you. It's just because it's you on the path to truth. You are a threat. And I had someone else in my training yesterday talking about issue with finances and like she'll go to get employed and the person that interviews her can really seem to like her, but then all of a sudden she won't get the job. And I'm like, yeah, that's the matrix because these people just shift. It's like they just bait and switch. So you can think that you're going to get somewhere, and then all of a sudden the forces come through, the agent Smith, the demon, whatever it is, comes through on the person that interviewed you, and actually, do you know what? Maybe we should interview someone else, or maybe we should. So it's not just like a relationship thing. It can be like a work colleague thing, family members. Um, so like I'm not telling people to live life in fear and just hide away. Like I joke about that, but I think it's very wise to just have that awareness. And if my story is a reminder to people, then that's good.
Yeah. Can you recall the first moment when you thought, something doesn't feel right here? Can you recall what that felt like and what it actually was that annoyed you?
Um, just yeah, I mean, like I say, there was a couple of red flags that I probably shouldn't have ignored, but yeah, just I think the way I started to there were the way that she acted at the start, just she didn't act like that um, after a few months. But then it progressively got worse, and then I could see exactly what that this wasn't the person that I thought it was. Actually, it was a different person. So yeah, it was really just like a shift in character in the way in just like in subtle ways. So yeah.
Hmm. Um, I think one of the problems with this subject is we have a an image in our mind, in our subconscious, via TV series, movies, what have you, whenever, movies like Exorcist, yeah. Um, we think it always has to be this very dramatic showdown and the changing of the faces and stuff flying around without anybody touching it. But it,
Hovering over the bed.
yeah, exactly.
She didn't
But
do that.
I'm not saying it cannot happen,
Yeah,
but what I'm saying, most of the times it's much softer than that. And that is why a lot of people can't make the connection.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's exactly like how some of these political leaders masquerade or these entities masquerade. They whisper sweet nothings. They come across as very very well to do, and on the surface seem good. Um, and it's like a slow tiptoe. So yeah, you have the obvious possessions that you're talking about there, which is well full on huge demonic possession. But then you just have these others that are just slowly, gently working through people because they're clever. They knew with me in my case, if they just showed themselves straight away, I'd be gone like within a day or even an hour. So they have to play their cards differently, and sometimes it's over time, slowly, catchy monkey, and then the mask starts to slip, and then you're suddenly feeling drained energetically, and then it's like, okay, I know this. this this is a wolf. This is a wolf in sheep's clothing, and yeah, it's crazy. It's sad in a way because at what point did that person actually leave? Did that person ever leave, or was it always a hosted person? Or because a lot of these entities, they come through and work through people if they're ex addicts or they've had some really bad trauma. Um, so it's really crazy how it works. But yeah, you've got to have your wits about you for a long period of time. So I think a good few months, year, just always look for the bait and switch, and any. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I say, no one's perfect. We're not consistently good all the time. We have our bad days, and that's okay. But if you're noticing inherent behaviours that were suddenly different to how it was at the start, and like I say, the huge amount of love bombing at the start. Um, when I look back at that, it was almost overwhelming. It was like I was in the false light tunnel or something. So,
Yeah. And, for instance, when you have come in contact, I mean, it depends on the personality, but some people, when they are very, very drunk, there is a total shift of personality, and that is why, of course, they call it spirits.
yeah, yeah,
But you can really see that, the eyes look different, and the entire demeanor, the way they talk and the nonsense they talk, sometimes very aggressive and destructive. And it really feels as if something is taking over.
yeah. It's a couple of things that stick out for me is that when we were out on a few occasions, like if she would see a dog, she would be like, "Oh, it's a dog. He's so cute. He's so cute." And a few times she would see, like if we would, sometimes she would like compliment people on their dress, like other women on their dress. She's like, "Oh, I love your dress," and I at the time I thought, "Oh, that's quite cute. Like that's a nice thing, like for another woman to compliment a woman." So she would do all this stuff, and I'd be like, okay, she's a really nice, sweet person. But at the end, she was like completely cold. It was like just cold, like just completely. And I'm like, when I'm trying to process, I'm like, who was that person at the start? Who was that? That person didn't exist. She was an actress. She was acting. It's even now when I'm talking about it now, it still astounds me just how sweet. And I mean, don't get me wrong, she didn't like physically harm me, or like it was nothing like that. It was just the bait and switch, and just the coldness, really just a different person. Yeah, and that's how they work. This is a classic love bite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, and on top of that, on top of all that scenario, you also have then these imposter spirits.
Yes.
Yeah. To make it a little bit worse. So and that is why I know that many people believe that they are have the Holy Spirit and that God is talking to them all the time.
Mm,
And I'm not saying it cannot happen, but it is very rare.
yes.
Yeah. And when you switch on your TV set, especially in the United States on Sundays, and you come across some evangelist, yet you have the impression everybody is talking to God, and it's the most normal thing. But I would caution against that
Yeah.
because you actually cannot know what is really contacting you there.
Mm,
And and that can, of course, have, yeah, goes down another way, angel contact, and what have you. So
yeah.
it
Essentially,
only makes it worse.
yeah. I mean, from my point of view, all the things when people say they're connecting to those deities or beings, they're connecting to demons. As far as I'm concerned, these are entities that are masquerading. And I've said the story so many times. People that felt like they were channeling their dead dad or angels, as you say, or God, and they follow all this advice, and sometimes their lives end up in a complete mess. And this is the issue with what I made another video about hopium. Just people, they're so desperate for to believe that someone or something has got their back, a team of guides, or is there to help them, save them, that they just willingly give their power away with, yeah, and just these entities know that. They know people are desperate. This is why it's so evil, because they know people are desperate. They know people struggle being in this world, this crazy hell realm, and they know people are looking for something, and they're always willing to provide that something. And there's always a rug pull or a dump in the punch bowl with these beings. And so I always say the best thing to, if you're going to channel anything or connect with anything, just go inwards, connect with your essence. That's the safest thing to do, because when you go out there, you're literally playing Russian roulette. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a big problem.
Yeah. And have you ever read Dr. Faustus, Goethe?
No.
Yeah. Um, it's of course Goethe wrote it, and it's a very old book, but it shows you it can go well for a long time, and then all of a sudden, when you least expect it, because everything is running smoothly, your life starts falling apart.
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Faustus, he made a pact with the devil.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I haven't read that, but it sounds interesting. But yeah, I mean, this is how many of these stories go. I had God, I've got so many examples. Woman that thought she was channeling Archangel Michael, and for months, I don't know. I think we even spoke about it in an interview, because I think we touched on this before. But this entity, this angel, helped her find her lost cat. She was like, Tony, it even helped me find my lost cat. Can you believe it? And then there was a massive rug pull. I can't, but this entity was, because this woman was quite prominent in the New Age. So
Hmm.
this entity was trying to get her to push the New Age agenda onto her community. So she was like a leader in the New Age community. And then luckily she woke up to it, or I think she found my work or whatever. And and she said she continued to follow the advice, because this an angelic being, quote unquote, helped her find a cat. It gave her more confidence that what she was dealing with was benevolent. And she, I can't remember exactly what happened, but she continued to follow the advice for quite a long time, as you say. And then there was a massive rug pull. I can't remember exactly what happened, but just her life ended up in a complete mess based off of the information that she was channeling. And yeah, I always use John of God as a great example because he was actually healing people of cancer and things like that. But turns out he was a child trafficker and friends with Oprah Winfrey, which so even in those cases, they always want to give you a bit of sugar. They have to give you a bit of sugar. Otherwise, if they just show up with the mask off straight away, you're like, no, go away, you're a demon. So they've got to give you a lot of sugar, and then there's the rug pull or the dump in the punch bowl, as I call it. And yeah, love bite relationships, they're the same. You know, they for a period of time, a long period of time, sometimes it can feel good. It can feel euphoric is the word that I would use, euphoric. And and then all of a sudden, it's not like that. And like I say, very dangerous, because if you stay in it for too long and you don't have the strength to walk away, because that's the other thing. People are so desperate for love and connection that they'd rather be in something toxic like that because it's still some form of connection, and that's related to the person's own trauma as well in some ways. But then they stay in it for too long, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And yeah, so
Hmm.
can you believe that we even have to talk about these things? It's just
Yeah, yes, I can. I can't believe it because we are doing it, and I think it needs to be said.
yeah, it does. But so, it, even though I've been doing this and these interviews for 10 years, sometimes I find myself talking about these things and thinking, even now, me thinking, this is so insanely crazy that we're stuck here in this place with all these demons, with all this agenda playing out, and like, and like people are walking around like having parties and like nothing's going on, and it's just bizarre to me. I don't know how I got here or what I did to get here, but I definitely don't want to stay much longer, that's for sure.
But what you also touched on when you said people want to have the feeling that guides or whatever is having their backs, and that I guess in general, humans have a tendency to look outside for help. Yeah.
Yes.
And there is a similarity, as I said, I pay a lot of attention to Africa, and the other country is Burkina Faso. And Burkina Faso is going through a very dramatic development now for the better. They had a coup. They are under military rule, but it has never been better before.
Mm.
Yeah. And you will hear a lot via the mainstream media, you will hear a lot of bad things about Ibrahim Traore, that is their president. But he has done really great, great stuff in that country. Yeah. Since the 1960s, they have their independence, but the country only had 3,000 kilometers of paved roads.
Okay.
Now, the government is paving 5,000 kilometers of paved roads every year. They have mobile clinics in remote areas where they also can do surgeries so that people don't have to figure out how can I get help if anything is going on and there is an emergency, and many, many good stuff. So. what they did, he came up with this project, their president, it's called a Fasumebo, which means let's fix the country. So now the people are participating, they are paving the roads. Soldiers are helping, elderly people are helping. Students after school come work together and pave roads. Also, another initiative, clean up your neighborhood. An entire week was dedicated to cleaning up public spaces, the entire neighborhood, and they collected tons of trash and what have you. And now with the paved roads, there is really something going on. Also, they are industrializing now, so new jobs are created. So, but when I looked at that, yes, you can, of course, say, yeah, the government exploiting the people because they are not paid. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Nobody is forced to participate, but what is happening there is we can do it ourselves. We don't
Yes.
have to wait for the IMF. We don't have to wait for the West to come and give us roads. We don't have to wait for anybody. We can do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And that is, and when I looked at that, I thought, this man understands beyond the roads, beyond the factories, all of that. I'm not saying that is not important. You have to change the mindset of the people. You have to get them out of this thinking that always somebody from the outside has to come to give them a push, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I just did a breakdown of Laurie Ladd on my YouTube channel,
Mm.
um, prominent new ager, and same thing, just encouraging people to pray, look out to God, the whole stuff with that. And yeah, it's right that they don't care like what you believe in, like whether it's angels or Jesus or guides or whatever deity, they don't care as long as you're looking outside of yourself and you're not what I call moving into your sovereign energy, which is where, about taking responsibility, being your own leader. We've spoken about this many times, Judith. Um, that is where they don't want you, because that's when you become empowered. And like, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's okay to get help. Like sometimes you might want to talk to someone, but it's just using that discernment. We just go with whatever feels good. So sometimes, yeah, having a helping hand can be good, but just be cautious, use discernment and that kind of thing. But ultimately, yeah, we want to become our own leaders and yeah, step into our power. And everything is designed for us to look outside of ourselves. Even when you think about it, that we have eyes to look out. I mean, even that's kind of, maybe that's a symbolic thing as well. But yeah, it's good that that's happening there. I don't know too much about Burkina Faso, but I'm happy that people there are stepping into their power and walking away from government, because I think a lot of that's all it takes a lot of the time.
Yeah, I can imagine if, that always used to be one of the poorest countries. And if you have been for generations and generations as a country, and there is a collective soul as well, yeah, and you always have been held in this, yeah, victim mentality, then that becomes your normal.
Mm,
And once it is your normal, you have obstacles to see that it's actually you yourself that can change it if you just get up from the sofa and just
mm.
do it, you
Yeah,
know?
it's
So
like
to
you
me,
said.
that experience is very important.
Yeah, exactly. And you touch on a good point there, because a lot of it is down to laziness. I notice it a lot with people, some people that are close to me. I say, well, why don't why don't you do this, or why don't you think about doing that? Oh, I can't do that. That's, it's just, yeah, it's just kind of like a lazy attitude. Because when you step into your sovereignty, you can't be lazy. You have to take responsibility. You have to put in your own action, your own efforts, um, call your own shots. And some people are so docile and lazy, they just can't be bothered. They much rather let a government, even if it's a psychopathic, entity-ridden government, make their decisions for them is crazy. So yeah, it's the more people that step into that sovereign energy, the better. And I think that's what's needed.
Yeah. But what you said at the beginning, I fully agree. And what you said with the end times, it is. We are at the end of a cycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hindus called it Kali Yuga when everything is upside down and everybody is going crazy. And yeah, and now we are at the end of the age of Pisces, you can say. And that is, the birthing of this new um, age that comes with a different attitude. Because the energy that Pisces holds is I believe, and the energy that Aquarius holds is I know. So,
Mm.
and these two blocks between I believe and I know, of course, there will be friction. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
As long as we are not completely through, there will be a lot of friction
Mm. Yeah,
before we make that change.
yeah.
And these cycles have been there for millennia, and now we are going through it. And it is horrible, yes, but at the same time, it's a very interesting time.
The Chinese say, don't they, may you live in interesting times, but I, I think I've had enough interest for for a while. I just it's just like every day something's going down right now. Um, but yeah, we've just got to keep trying to smile through it, just laugh at it, step into our sovereignty, do the work, and start, yeah, like in the example that you say no, and use our sovereignty to carve a new path. And I think the more of us that do that, hopefully we can make a difference. Whether or not we'll see the fruits of our labor in our lifetime, I don't know, but at least we're setting the stones.
Yeah. And no matter how crazy it gets, and yes, it can be very frightening at times, but I am convinced that there are always, ways and avenues to work around it.
Yeah,
Yeah. For instance, what we went through from 2020 to 2023, I mean, there were moments, my goodness, where I felt something that I rarely feel, like despair. Yeah. But then again, it also showed us that if you keep calm, it will blow over. There will come a point when it will blow over, and yeah, until next time. And then we will see how much we have learned.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, keep calm but resist at the same time, and
Yeah,
encourage others to resist.
yeah.
Um,
But it is much easier to resist if you keep calm instead of running around like a headless chicken.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, they'll just get their water cannons on you, won't they?
Yeah. Yeah, wow, Tony, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for sharing your experience.
Yeah, you're welcome. I hope it helps other people realize. And
Yeah,
thanks for having me on.
yeah. So, the main thing is when the shift got too dramatic, you realized it, and you had your consequences, and you cut the ties. A tragic would be you know it and you don't change it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I could see it was affecting my work, like the levels of information I was putting out. Um, I was feeling a little bit more tired, and so yeah, it was definitely doing its job as designed. But yeah, I pulled the plug quickly. So um, and now I'm alive to tell the tale. So
So yeah, okay. So yeah, guys, that was it. Night flight for today, and we see you on the next one.